morning, everyone. This is Tony from Her Homestead Skills. Welcome to my channel. So today I have checked on my little seedlings that I planted a few days ago, and already I do have some that have germinated, quite to my surprise. The basil I wasn't surprised about because they do germinate fairly quickly, but we have Brussels sprouts and broccoli have also come up. So that is going to be awesome, awesome, awesome. I am going to, okay, so when they have put out their second leaves, I will look at separating them all into individual plots, except for the basil. I'm going to leave that for a little while. But hopefully I'll be able to salvage every seed. I have put more than one in every little crevice, just so in case one didn't germinate, that there would be ample plants. And if I can salvage all of them, I will. If not, I'll probably have to destroy one or two to get the healthier one. But there'll be more than enough plants in any case. So with that, I decided to go through my plants again and see what else I wanted to put into pot to germinate, and I found some my bell pepper seeds that I had saved from another year, as well as my San Marzano tomatoes. Now, most of these that I have planted, not most, but a lot of them are seeds that I salvaged myself from previous year's growth. So, well, we'll see how they turn out. Now, the bell peppers and the tomatoes, I definitely want to grow quite a bunch of those. So if these don't take, I have time to start another set, which is fine. And then speaking of that, I told Mark that when we get property with some land, he's going to be building me a greenhouse. And he said, not a problem, you just have to know how big you want it. And I gave him an indication of how big I wanted it, and he said, no, that'd be fine. It's, you know, you just want to make sure you anchor it to the ground so that it doesn't blow away. And of course, we're nowhere near that point yet, so there's really not too much to discuss in that area. But just to keep in mind that yes, I would like a greenhouse, and obviously I'll probably help him build it. Not very likely that he'll do it on his own. So, okay, I have not gone out too much in the past few weeks, and that has got nothing to do with the gas prices, because I don't really go that far anyway, in most cases, unless I'm going someplace with Mark, and then we do go quite a distance. But normally I just put it around locally to the local thrift shops or the local grocery stores. And right now I've kind of tired of doing both of those things. I need a change, and I need to get into my garden. I know that for a fact. But the weather is just not participating yet. It's just not feasible yet. It's still too cold. I had considered going to my garden to check it out, to see how, if anything has come up out of the ground there, which I highly doubt. It's still too cold. But I did plant some garlic and some asparagus and a few other things that, oh yeah, my raspberry plants. I'm definitely wanting to see how they have fared over the winter. And anyway, it won't be long. I should be able to go there within the next week or so. And speaking of the next week or so, as of about 4 or 5 days from now, we will no longer be required to wear masks. I'm thrilled with that. I cannot stand those masks. I have an issue breathing, and I always wear it under my nose until I get somebody telling me to put it over my nose, and then I comply rather than get into a fight with somebody. But as soon as I pass them by, I just put it down again. I don't believe in restricting my breathing, and especially if you're doing anything physical, it's not healthy. So needless to say, I'm happy that that is going to be over once and for all. Now, I'm also just hoping that the truckers' convoy in the U.S. managed to get a whole bunch of other restrictions lifted, and I know that as soon as they lift them in the U.S., they'll lift them in Canada too. And it's the cross-border travel restrictions that I'm mostly interested in. Having to do tests and having to do this, that, and the other in order to be able to cross the border. Not interested. I'll just sit here and wait until all that's cleared away. And I can't see that that's going to go on too much longer. England has already removed all restrictions, even for the unvaccinated, so I suspect that, and France is starting to follow suit, so I suspect that Canada and the US will also follow suit very soon. I have somewhat backed away from watching the events in the Ukraine. It's really sad to see, but well, we'll see what happens there. Terrible things shouldn't be happening. Well, I haven't done much canning lately, but mostly it's because I still have so many supplies that I haven't used up that I'm not going to overly can what I'm not going to use in the next little while. Definitely I have at least a year's worth and maybe even more than that still. So I will be canning up more items later on in the year, and as the fresh fruits and vegetables become available, definitely. I think I'm going to start a little bit more dehydrating and maybe making some powders. Dehydrating and turning things into a powder might be an awesome way to store things, and especially things that you might want to use for, say, a creamed soup, like perhaps cream of tomato soup or cream of turnip soup of some sort or another. So yeah, I'm considering making some more powders. I also have behind me my lovely sewing machine, and I've been wondering what I can produce, and at this point I'm still not totally focused on sewing at all, so there's really nothing that I want to make at this point with my sewing machine. I also have my lovely old ancient book press behind me. I don't know if, there it is, if you can see it behind all the plants. And I have considered making another leather-bound book, and what I do to do that, and I'm by no means any expert, I just do it for fun. But what I normally would do is find a paperback book that I might like, and I make a hardcover for it. And in doing so, I frequent the thrift shops looking for a leather garment that has very soft leather that is not worn, and that I can cut out a nice big patch or 2 or 3 and be able to use that to bind a book. And I have successfully done a couple of small ones. Unfortunately, I have not the means to write anything on the cover itself, and I don't think that I'll get that heavily into that craft to buy everything that's necessary to do that. But I was enjoying making the leather covers for the books, and I may consider doing that for maybe a spring gardening book. We'll see. I have to see if I still want to do that. So today I've considered what am I going to bake. I feel like something sweet. And I have started off by checking my refrigerator and feeding my sourdough starter. And rather than throwing away a portion, I've decided to make 2 portions, one that I would put back in the fridge, and I always keep a small amount. I don't make a large amount of sourdough, started because I don't use an awful lot of it. So just I don't want to make it fresh, so I want to keep this alive. And I have decided to make 2 batches today. One went back in the fridge and the other one is on the counter, so that it can rise, and perhaps I'll make some sourdough bread tomorrow. I haven't made any for a while, but might be interesting to make some of that bread for a change. And I've considered making a few treats, and I still haven't decided which one, and probably when I put this video down I have made a decision by then, and it's a toss-up between peanut butter and chocolate chip cookies, pumpkin tarts instead of pumpkin pie, and biscottis. And I do like the biscottis because they keep, they're a dry biscuit, and I unfortunately, whenever I have treats in the house, I do eat them. And considering that maybe you don't want too much sweets, I thought maybe that the pumpkin tarts without the tart, just the pumpkin filling, might be a nice, easy way to do that. But we'll see. I'll make up my mind soon, and I'll make some treat for tonight. And anyway, so I hope everyone is enjoying the warmer weather. Hopefully you're getting warmer weather. We're getting the snow pretty much melted at this point. We did have a bit of snow today, which is supposed to turn to rain. Unfortunately, March is still always a bit of a toss-up. You never know how cold or how hot it's going to be, but it's only a couple of weeks till April, and then it definitely starts to get warmer. And I'll definitely go and visit my garden before then. Okay. Our gas prices have not shifted up too much anymore, thank goodness. We did have a major increase, and then we had a slight decrease, but it's still pretty high, which is interesting because Canada never did buy oil from Russia. Since 2019, we have not bought oil from Russia, so I really don't understand, because we have enough of our own oil that we could establish the price on our own for our own people, but no. It's our prices are set by the world market, which is, anyway, it is what it is. And hopefully that situation in Ukraine and Russia will be resolved soon. Ugly situation. And the gas prices and the inflation are certainly not because of Russia and Ukraine. I don't believe that for a minute. It may have added a few notches to something that was already running amok. So, yeah, the protests and the uprisings of the people in all governments actually doesn't surprise me at all. What surprises me is that there's not even more of it. And hopefully governments will start to listen. But if they don't, it's probably going to get a whole lot worse before it gets a lot better. So everyone should be looking after what they can do for their own homes and their own families. And try not to worry, because there's really not too much on an individual level that most people can do. Anyway, it's probably time for me to end this little video and probably start thinking about which I think I'm going to make the biscottis. So I hope everyone enjoyed this video, and we'll catch you on the next one. Bye for now.